My father tells stories of growing up in the 70s and the very early 80s and graduating from Boston, Massachusetts high school. And he talks about how there was endless resources. If you wanted to be an auto mechanic, they had a course for it. If you wanted to be in radio, there's a course for it. If you wanted to learn French, you could take French or Spanish or any other variation of language. It was there. And he talks about things, especially computers and stuff that he took. And he talks about it in a way that I don't really quite understand. And I'm like, how do you know all this? He goes, oh, well, they taught us this back in high school. I said, they taught you those principles back in high school in the 80s. And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, where did you learn to be a mechanic? Because you go from high schooler and then just certified mechanic. He goes, oh, well, I picked that up in high school. And I'm like, what? You're telling me that the education system back in the day actually wanted to teach you something? He's like, well, yeah, that's why you go to high school. That's why you go to school. And then I thought of my own education, and I thought of some people that I had actually talked to. Well, for one, when I got out of high school and I applied to college, I obviously wasn't going to get into university, but I applied to a community college, and they said, well, you're going to have to take high school level courses to even get in the door to any of this. Now, my grades and stuff were not particularly high, but they weren't particularly low. And that always struck me as a gimmick or something's wrong there, that a recent high school graduate would have to go right into high school 2.0, right? And we see this repeated across the country. And I found out that through the conversation of a hiring manager, someone who actually worked in placing people in positions of jobs, that there is indeed variations between townships and districts. The particular district I was from was a slightly less wealthy district than the one north of me. And I said, I've heard it rumored that an employer will see a graduate from this particular place and a graduate from the school the next town up, and that they will always choose, if possible, the next town up. And I asked her that. She goes, oh, yeah, that is definitely true. We definitely do that because it's just seen that the people from the next town up would be a better fit. They just appear to be more educated. And I'm like, so there's all these secrets to this. So education is a totally rigged system. She never told me if it was or not, but from what I'm seeing from the education, going back to my grandparents, who just happened to know more education-wise, to my father, who graduated in the very early 80s, who just happened to know more, to my own, where I'm walking out of high school retarded, something has happened. Something bad has happened. The communities, the people are being dumbed down, and I think it's about control. So in conclusion, all this money you're paying to school districts, just put it in the blender, because that's what's happening to it.